Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to You Have Beauty Care Choices. I'm the CEO of Beauty Care Choices, and today we have a great treat for you. A while ago, we did a video on Ethica Beauty with their VP of Sales, Angelica Cantor. And today we have brought back Peter Martin, the creator of Ethica, because Ethica has grown so much with Beauty Care Choices, and our fan base, people just want to know more about the brand, how it was created. So let me give you a little intro of Peter. He's a very interesting person, a serial entrepreneur, been in the beauty industry for 15 years, and prior to that ran nightclubs around Vancouver, so a Canadian gentleman. And my phone's ticking off here with all of our little announcements, sorry about that. He worked for a laboratory for about 15 years, 10 to 15 years, and got kind of the bug to create his own brand. He says, with today's advancements in science and technology, you should expect more from your hair care. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to the show, Peter Martin, the founder of Ethica Beauty. Hi, Peter.
Hi, nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to the show. So tell us a little bit about your experience in beauty and with the prior laboratory, and kind of what made you interested in creating your own beauty brand.
I saw the value in creating something a little bit more different and a little bit more unique compared to most of the brands that I've seen in the last 10, 15 years. I used to sell other brands around the globe into over 40 countries. So I really learned about the global industry and what it's really like and how the beauty industry functions, how manufacturing and design and formulations function. And while it's great business and it's a lot of fun, I really found that most places or most companies are a little bit of an old boys club in some ways, and maybe kind of like the old car manufacturers of Ford and General Motors, where it's kind of haven't really changed in a long time. And while there's nothing wrong with that, everyone has great formulations and everyone has great packaging and marketing and ideas, and the products are professional. I just thought you could do it different. I thought you could do it better. I'm not saying we're better than anyone else, but I am saying that we are different, and I think we incorporate different technologies and philosophies compared to your standard brand that you would see in salons.
Well, you're very humble. I think you've created something amazing here. Your deck of ingredients, your clean aspects, the new technology. So like you said, some of the formulas have been around for these popular brands for decades, like well over decades. And there's so much new advanced technology in hair care. Can you speak to that a little bit and tell us about what you guys kind of coined as smart technology in Ethica?
Yeah, we did something a little bit different, where most brands that you're going to see, or almost every brand that you're going to see out there, really sits into categories, and this is how the industry kind of works. And you'll have volumizing category, smoothing, curl define, moisturizing or hydration, which is always the biggest category, color repair or color extend, repair, and there's 10 others that I always forget.
You got the top six.
Yeah, I think I got the top ones. What we did is that's just done for marketing purposes. Realistically, you don't need to create 5 or 10 different shampoo products to actually be able to do what you want. So, but to become a big mega brand, you kind of need a big, huge line with 30 or 40 SKUs or different products. We kind of went a completely different way. We're a very boutique line with only 4 items and 1 shampoo and 1 conditioner. And what we did with the shampoo, for example, was to create a very, very high-end experience and luxury sort of product so that it would compete with the very top products that are on the market now. But what we did was something very unique. We took all of the attributes that you would have from every category across the entire a mega brand, and so all your volumizing, your smoothing, perhaps bond repair or damage repair, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we came up with a way that we were able to layer the molecules in the shampoo in a way that makes them adaptable. So what's interesting is when you use our shampoo, it will adapt to the individual user's needs. So the product completely becomes a unique experience. In the end, we all use it, and it's a great shampoo, and we have great attributes that are very similar. But if you need extra smoothing technology, or you need extra anti-frizz technology, or you need extra repair technology, or more volume or moisturizing, it's actually going to work individually to adjust itself to be able to give you those differences. It's a very unique product that I don't believe has been done before, and it took 2 years to kind of formulate with some pretty smart chemists.
I love that. It took a while, and it's still taking a while for my brain to grasp this. Let's show the collection, Tobe. So these are the SKUs. You've got your shampoo, your conditioner, and your topicals. You've got Ageless and corrective. And so what you're saying is sometimes we need moisture. Sometimes if you have fine hair, we've been trained to think in the beauty industry, if you have fine hair, you need the volume shampoo. If you have dry hair, you need the moisture shampoo. But if you think about it, I was likening it kind of more, and you said that this was fairly accurate yesterday when we spoke about like a multivitamin. You know, that your body, we give ourselves the daily doses of what is recommended, and our body absorbs what we need. And so that's kind of the philosophy or the thought behind Ethica, correct?
It is, to a point, yes. I mean, your body, your scalp, your hair follicles in your hair will react in a way that is similar to your body taking in a multivitamin. So if you need more biotin or iron or vitamin C or antioxidants from a particular vitamin, your body will enable itself to be able to utilize those. Not too different than what we're doing with the shampoo. The difference is just getting all of that technology into the shampoo to actually work kind of together is really the secret of it. And that takes a long time to be able to do, for sure. But I think we were able to be very successful.
We have a bunch of people joining us. I want to say hi to Dave, Mache, Karen, Joe, Celine, Angelica. Hi, Angelica. Thanks for joining us. Tracy. Tracy says, I'm on my 11th day of using Ethica, and my curls are looking amazing. So I love that that was our first comment and question, because I was going to ask you, curly hair is a hard beast to tame. I mean, it really is. And so to hear from a curly girl that this product is even working on her, we hear from fine-haired girls all the time, but to hear from a curly girl, that speaks volumes, right?
I think it does, you know, and curly hair, like you said, is difficult to deal with in a lot of cases. In what we do for Curl Define is we use a really advanced polymer that also helps with anti-frizz technology, that is water activated and also water soluble. So that means there's no buildup. But when you use the product, it actually individually coats the strands. So if you even have fine, long, straight hair, it's going to help give you texture and coarseness and body. And if you have curly hair, and you need to deal with being able to control your curly hair, then it's going to help you maintain what you want out of your curl without it getting away from you.
So the product is naturally, it is just a clean product. You said you were primarily going with advanced technology, but a lot of new technologies are coming out to be a little bit more healthier ingredients. So the products are alcohol-free, fragrance-free, gluten-free, cruelty-free, no artificial colors, paraben-free, sulphate-free, and vegan. Amazing. All of that and this advanced technology in simplistic way. Now we do have two choices. We have our Ageless and we have our corrective. We did a really in-depth video already with Angelica around this, but I just want to cover it for those just watching fresh today. Tell us the difference between Ageless and corrective and who that person is.
Well, the thing that's nice about our line to begin with is it's not a system. So you don't have to use the conditioner if you don't want, if you have a favorite conditioner. If you don't want to use the topicals, you can absolutely use the shampoo on its own, or even just use the topicals on its own and still use your same favorite brand. I'm biased, of course, but I do believe you get a better synergistic result by using our products together. But again, we don't have to sell them like that. The topicals, the reason you would want to use a topical is if you just want better, faster, deeper results. So if you're going to use the shampoo, for example, and you want to have your results be faster, or you have more damage or more serious things you want to take care of, and you want to do it in a quicker or have deeper results from it, then that's when you're going to utilize a topical. The topicals are fantastic to use on their own, and as you mentioned, They have no fragrance, no color, no residue, no stickiness, no alcohols. They are what I call cosmetically transparent. So they're perfect in your hair. The only thing I have in my wonderful hair today is corrective, and that's all I ever put in my hair now. I don't actually use styling products anymore, where I used to have to use a mountain of styling products to get my hair to be the way I wanted it. Simply put, Ageless is just designed for women and around women's estrogen needs, and corrective is based around my needs, which is testosterone. So it's as simple as that. And while there's a lot more you can go into, we like to keep things very, very simple so people don't get too confused with the science that's involved.
I like science, but yeah, reading through the ingredients, you have taken it to a whole new level. I mean, I'm reading on the adenosine, and it performs similar to minoxidil 5%. And as I'm reading on it, it's there's a new way for neurotransmitters to accept neurotransmitters of neurotransmitters. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This show might be a little over my head, Peter. But that's really cool.
It is. We use some incredibly advanced ingredients. We use fantastic things, everything from standard things that you would see like biotin and rooibos and saw palmetto and things, but we get into a lot more exotic things like the reishi mushroom from China, oleanic acid, capillarine, bark extracts, caffeine, and a lot of other great things that really just, the thing with our product is a lot of people always ask, what is the ingredient? What are kind of the buzzwords, which again is a very standard thing in the industry to go, so what are we going to talk about in your conditioner? Is it avocado oil or is it whatever?
Do we have coconut? Do we have avocado? Do we have, yeah. What's the hot hip term right now? But I love your explanation on this. It's not one, right?
No, it is not one, and like you get into the skincare industry right now, everyone's talking about hyaluronic acid, which is a great ingredient.
It is my favorite ingredient for skincare.
It is awesome. Holy grail of youth by itself.
Yeah.
You need to combine things.
The instant gratification ingredient.
Of course. And we work in combination of dozens of ingredients within our shampoo or within our topicals. They have 30 to 40 different ingredient molecules that are all working in conjunction to do something in a synergistic flow, as opposed to there is no magic one ingredient.
And you talked about yesterday, we discussed there was a few ingredients or two specifically that you talked about that it has to be the right proportion, right? It is the formula that is the brilliance behind Ethica and that makes it so different. Not even just the specific list of ingredients, but it's the amounts, because in certain different amounts, they can counteract each other and not be complementary, right?
This is accurate, yes. You can't just take 20 or 30 awesome molecules or materials or ingredients, whatever you would like to call them, and put them into a bucket and mix them together and hope it's going to be good. You have to make sure that there is a specific percentage, and you also have to combine certain ingredients like other ingredients, but only at certain percentages. And other ingredients might cancel each other out. So when you're starting to work into, 2 or 3 main ingredients, that's not too difficult, but you're getting into 20, 30, 40 active ingredients into a product. You have to make sure that they're all working together. So what we made sure we did with all of our products is we don't fairy dust anything, meaning we don't put in an ingredient that's got such a tiny percentage of 0.0001% of something just to say it's in there. If something's in our product, it has a purpose and it serves a purpose. Nor would I want to actually remove any of the ingredients that are in there as well. They're all just as important as each other, I believe.
So they're all active ingredients. If they weren't active and in there for a necessary purpose, they wouldn't be there.
Absolutely, 100%.
And so our shampoo is based in coconut. It's got that coconut. Now, I love this. I actually have kind of caught on to this. Is coconut seems to be being used a lot in place of like sulfates for the lather purpose, right? It's got a very rich lather. What else? Why else are we using coconut so much in beauty?
I believe we didn't choose coconut just because it's kind of cool and clean and new, which it is.
It is.
We chose it because you can really tailor the experience. of what you're getting from your surfactants and from the foaming agents, which are all coconut based. You get a much better, deeper clean, in my opinion, that's much more gentle to the scalp and the environment itself. It's just a nicer product to be able to use. So not only do you get the bonus of being able to say we are using a coconut-based product as opposed to traditional surfactants, you get the benefit that, in my opinion, it's actually much more superior than anything that's been out there the last 50 years.
That's amazing. And I mean, it is a new technology of sense that it has only been around in our beauty care products that I know of fairly recently, at least within the last 5 or 10 years. So any of the brands from back in the day might not be taking advantage of all of this new technology that we know is in Ethica.
I agree. And coconut itself is in some other great professional brands. I believe, I would assume that you're going to see more of these types of base ingredients to be able to create the products from, as opposed to more traditional surfactants.
We have Jessica saying the whole Ethica family loving the live, watching it with lunch. And Renee is saying fine curly thin hair, that's me, and I love it. So thanks, girls. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks for piping in on our live here today. Learning, we are with founder of Ethica Beauty, Peter Martin, and he is sharing with us his reason for creating Ethica. And Ethica, not surprisingly, really comes from the root ethical, right?
It does.
And that is the purpose of creating this brand. Is Peter worked in a lot of laboratories and kind of saw how formulations and brands were created, and how many brands that had not updated their formulas in a lot of years. And so he took on this opportunity, chance to create a new type of beauty hair care products, and you really say that we should really start expecting more from our hair care, because of all this new technology out there, right?
Absolutely, 100%. I'm a huge tech nerd, so I love
My
anything
kind of
that's
guy.
any engineering. I'm a big fan of SpaceX and Tesla and Apple and all of these amazing companies that help move our world forward. I really do sort of look like, and I've got my phone here, I really do think that Ethica is really just, this camera's back. This is really just this.
Huh?
So I believe that, why do you need to settle for what we've been having for the last 20, 30 years? You can have a great product, and that's fine if you're happy with it. But why wouldn't you want something a little bit different? And so what you get with Ethica is you get an absolute top quality experience and product itself that will absolutely sit next to and or compete or beat every top brand that's out there in its usage as a daily shampoo or a daily product. But then you get all these other amazing attributes that, I mean, you can have a smart shampoo, which doesn't exist. Now it does exist.
It does.
Should be able to get what you want out of your hair care without having to buy 10 different bottles of products to do it.
Yeah.
And I believe now science is at a point where this should be the norm. You should be able to wash your hair, have a great experience. You should be able to have great scalp health and follicular health. You should be able to take care of concerned areas due to damage or diffuseness or any of these other things while having great cosmetic benefits. And that is sort of the basis behind Ethica, is that, why just wash your hair when you can actually do something with it?
So Ethica Beauty, right here from the founder, it is the Tesla and the iPhone 11 of hair care. It is the top technology, the most advanced formulas. And we say formulas, not ingredients, because it's the combination of these ingredients that he's created. The knowledge, and that's what I'm really fascinated too with you, Peter. Among many things, you're a very fascinating person, but where did you get the knowledge to know how to layer these molecules? Like we've got the conditioner is avocado based. Where did you get the knowledge to know, how to make this conditioner work for really fine hair and not weigh it down, or really thick hair?
I'm not going to pretend I'm a PhD nanobiochemist. I wish I was.
Me too.
What I do understand is the ingredients and how they work and how they should work in conjunction. I would be lying to said I would know how to put that together in a base to actually make it cohesive in a one formula. I understand formulations, but I'm not a chemist, and so I've been very fortunate to work with what I believe is one of the top, if not the top chemist in the United States, where we spent a lot of time together. Where when I first showed this woman, her name is Deanna, and she is brilliant. But when I first showed her my formulations, the first thing out of her mouth is she goes, "I've been doing this almost 30 years and I haven't even heard of half of these ingredients." And then the second thing out of her mouth is, "There's no way you're going to be able to put all of this into one liquid and actually have it be stable, let alone actually have it work."
Stable, have a shelf life, not, decompose anything. I mean, there's so much that goes into it that I am just grasping, I'm just getting a hold of. And I think if you aren't a manufacturer and you're not into manufacturing, you might not even realize how many layers go into this. But I agree with Deanna, how you were able to get all of these into something and make it stable.
Well, what was exciting for us, and I think specifically for her when we were doing this project, was, it went from "you can't do this" to "this is exciting because I've never done something like this." And here's a woman that's designed probably dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of cosmetic shampoos and products and lines. This is what she does professionally. So, when the light bulb went off, all of a sudden she was like, "This is so exciting," because I'm pretty sure this woman could design a shampoo in her sleep. And you talk about a few attributes or a few buzz ingredients, and boom, you got your product. But we were able to create something that I think is really, really unique, and we're pretty proud of it for sure.
You should be. I'm a total ingredient nerd. I read ingredients on the back of bottles. You know how many brands I sell. I've done many of these shows. I definitely have not seen an ingredient deck like Ethica. I can absolutely, hands down, you read the back of the bottles, so many of the ingredients are the same. And, listed kind of almost even in the same order, that makes you start thinking how much uniqueness is there to a lot of these formulas. These are some ingredients I've never seen in shampoos, like mushrooms. I mean, it's so interesting how you thought of these ingredients to be able to create this product. Where do the smells come from? So how do we share, what are people smelling? What is your fragrance? Do you know what the comment, or what the fragrance that comes through? I can't identify it.
It's a good question, actually. On the topicals, there is no fragrance, so they don't really have any.
They don't,
the shampoo and conditioner shares the same fragrance, and it is a tiny, tiny bit of ginger. That is the only fragrance that is actually in the product, which a lot of people really think it's citrus, because it has a very fresh.
I thought grapefruit.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's a type of fruit or citrus because it has a very fresh scent to it and a very fresh feeling. Interestingly enough, after we decided, with the help of my wife, who helped decide a lot of the things that we did, she's a great no filter type of person and tells you what she likes. So after we decided what we liked for the different fragrances, we came up with the percentage of fragrance that we thought was appropriate. And when we got those lab samples back, we were like, wow, it really permeated from your hair. And we didn't want that. What we wanted was you to just use the product, and while you're shampooing your hair, you get a nice experience like the spa, but it's not overdone. And then once you rinse your hair, it's kind of gone and your hair is just fresh. So we actually cut the amount of fragrance back in half. And then we cut it in half again, and then we actually cut it in half again. We cut it in half 4 times so that the amount of fragrance that's in the product is just very, very light. I believe you've got enough that we all wear these days that has fragrances on it. So we just want your hair to be fresh after it rinses out.
Yeah, Tracy joined us said she thought it was lemon. And that makes such a good point, because I honestly, some shampoos and stuff like that I can't use. I'm very sensitive to smells. So if it sticks with me throughout the day, no matter how wonderful it is at first, I end up with a headache within a couple hours. I don't know what it is with my system, but it's just like, oh, I can't smell that all day long. But then also we have heard other people say my shampoo just clashes with my perfume. So those that like to wear fragrance, they feel like a lot of the really strong shampoos are overpowering the scents that they choose to wear. So that's really interesting. I love that. And I'm surprised of ginger. That actually really took me back because I'm not a huge ginger fan, and I didn't get ginger out of it at all. I mean, not necessarily I don't like ginger. It's not one of my favorite tastes or smells. So the citrus I love, and that's what I thought it was. So interesting.
Next time, maybe when you take a little smell out of the bottle, you might smell the ginger now. But it is interesting how it kind of almost masks itself that way.
It does. It must be with the combination because there is a little bit. Didn't I see even cinnamon in there? You have a little bit of cinnamon.
There is an extract in there, but that's not going to be. It's actually a bark extract from cinnamon.
Okay.
So you're not going to get any of the attributes of fragrance from cinnamon itself. We're just utilizing the bark extracts from there, which are really just an antifungal and antiviral, which you would never think would be from the bark of cinnamon, but it is. So yeah, your main fragrance is really just coming from that ginger.
Interesting. Now I need to smell it again. So you're so humble and you're saying, okay, well, you don't necessarily have to use the whole system. You could use my shampoo or you could use my conditioner, but to me, I always think systems work well together. And so why would someone want to use your whole system, or especially the conditioner? I think the conditioner is amazing. It's a really, really good nutrient. I feel like it really moisturizes my hair without weighing it down.
It does, absolutely. It's we made the conditioner a little bit more different than a traditional conditioner. It's not the big heavy lifter that the shampoo is, as far as all heavy anti-aging and stimulation and growth and all the other things we've been talking about. The conditioner is really designed to just be an ultra lightweight, professional quality conditioner product. It is coconut based. The anti-static and conditioning agents we use are actually from the plant family. They're actually from the cabbage family. So it's all plant-based static control in it. We also include avocado oil, panthenol, arginine, cell-sphere caffeine, soy proteins, etc. So we have it. It's a very lightweight product, but it is very nice on the hair. It gives you a different sort of experience where it doesn't really coat the hair like a big traditional conditioner does, which is really just an experience. It doesn't actually mean it's conditioning. So we kind of left that experience out of the conditioner. So when you put it in, it just kind of coats the hair and feels very light and rinses really nice and clean and leaves the hair perfect without weighing it down.
It really does. It leaves the hair feeling very clean instead of conditioned. And I don't know if people really get that difference, but that's how I felt when I experienced it. Was that, wow, my hair feels so clean still, just so bouncy still. Now I really appreciate the topical conversation, and the Ageless is more around estrogen and women's needs, and corrective is more around the testosterone and men's needs. Is there any crossover there? Any way that you recommend different ways, or is it really just that clean and that clear?
You mean as far as gender use?
Yes.
It can be a crossover. What we have found is that no matter how much we've been telling people make the mistake, or women are making the mistake, I should say, that they believe corrective is more powerful than ageless, and it's just not. So, corrective is as powerful for myself as ageless is for any woman, and corrective is not going to be more powerful for a woman because it's not designed for the estrogen needs. And where you can have a crossover. Typically, the only reason a woman would really use corrective is if she was coming out of post-chemotherapy. And, you would want to use corrective for helping the DNA regeneration of the hair follicle itself to kind of recombat the chemo damage that the follicle has had from that therapy. Other than that, realistically, unless that woman is an extreme case, or if a woman actually has female pattern balding, which is the female equivalent of male pattern baldness, which very few women have, then Ageless is going to cover 97% of every single woman's needs. Just from, I want better hair, shinier hair, stronger hair. I'm using extensions, all the way up to I've got diffuse areas on the frontal hairline, temporal regions, across the top of my head. I've got damage from sun, chemical, extensions, coloring, etc. I'm just not 20 years old anymore. Maybe I'm 30 or 40 or 50, and I need some help. That's what Ageless is going to do for every single woman.
And that brought up another point that I was going to ask, and a question that I get asked a lot is, at what point should you start using Ethica? So is it ageless, meaning really if you start seeing signs of shedding or signs of breakage or anything even in your 20s, there's no reason why you can't use Ethica even in your 20s or teens, right?
Of course. Now skincare has become trendy. People display skincare in their bathrooms because they're proud of using the skincare. This is no different, realistically. You might not need a topical if you're in your teens or in your early 20s, but the shampoo will 100% absolutely genetically change the way your hair is growing and the way it looks. And I have yet to meet a woman who says, my hair's perfect, I don't need anything.
Right.
It just doesn't exist. So as great as anyone's hair can be, it can definitely be better. As far as an age to start or when to start, that's up to the individual. And again, it's, I always liken it to skincare. If you started using skincare when you're 50, because I'm full of wrinkles, you're going to have a harder time dealing with things.
It's a little too late.
Yeah. So, obviously using something a little bit earlier, and that's sort of our philosophy, is you're going to wash your hair anyways. You're going to buy a shampoo. Why wouldn't you buy a shampoo that is doing something to protect your scalp and protect your hair through your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and well into your 70s? You can keep a fantastic head of hair on you for your entire life using these products, and you're going to use a product anyways. So we feel that we're the right one to choose.
When we did the show earlier this year with Angelica, we a lot of people, or the women that were watching, the people that were watching, they gravitated to the concept of my hair only gets to my shoulders and it breaks off. Like, I just can't get people that want this kind of hair. And we've been seeing pictures where they're like going, oh my gosh, my hair got past my shoulders, and they get so excited. And so it's not even like, you don't want to think of it's aging, or you don't want to think of it's like hair loss. It's really just a nutrient for your hair. It's almost like your multivitamin, where if you just need either anti-frizz or less shedding or more youthful feeling hair, or your hair has something that it's missing, I think you should try Ethica. Tracy's saying, how long should a bottle of Ageless last if I'm using it twice a day with max sprays, and I've found I've used half the bottle in 11 days, and am I using too much?
You shouldn't. The bottle, this main bottle, it should last you 30 days. If you're using 7 sprays twice a day, it is designed to be a 30-day product that way. So, using a little bit more isn't going to hurt anything. I can't tell you that it's going to give you more results. Using more doesn't mean better in a lot of cases with a lot of things. Just using the right amount. So, my wife, for example, she only uses this bottle just on her frontal hairline. And, because she just wants to keep this. She's pretty great all over the place. And the shampoo maintains her hair to where she's really, really happy with it. So she really just utilizes it on the frontal hairline. And she doesn't use it twice a day. She'll use it once a day, or even skips days here and there. So she might use it 3 to 5, 6 times a week. Myself personally, I'm not great at it either. And I still am able to, be as good as I can on my regimen, but we're all human. So, this isn't heart medication. Nothing really horrible is going to happen if you miss an application. It's nothing to freak out about. But it's just like any other commitment that you want to make: skincare, going to the gym, eating right, anything else. What you're going to put into this is what you're going to get out. So if you can try and stay as dedicated as you can within reason, that's what we ask.
So Tracy, maybe you're using it depends on all the areas that you're spraying it into. the shampoo has a lot of active properties, and you're going to get a lot just out of your shampoo. So maybe the topical really just spot treat. So if you're trying to cover your whole scalp, maybe that's why she feels like she's going through the product too fast. That could be just, maybe she's just trying to cover the whole scalp. We're not recognizing that the shampoo is already doing a lot of your work, right?
Yeah, the shampoo does do a lot of the work. In the case of, 7 sprays, or it would be 14 sprays a day. I remember sitting here with my finger going 1, 2, 3, 4, counting how many exact sprays we get from this nozzle compared to the amount, the 2 ounces of product that are in here. How many sprays does that actually give you? And so then we made sure that we wanted to cover basically to get 30 days out of it. Now you might give or take a day here and there. The nozzle might not always spray exactly the same, but it is on average 30 days.
Good. And it's a spot treatment where you're really applying it to your most needed areas with the topical, correct?
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. So in the case of myself, I'm applying this directly to the scalp, as you should, and I'm hitting it, and I kind of just go like this, and I'm kind of done. You don't need to rub the product in. You don't need to sit there and work it in. It goes through almost instantly. In the case of, I always use my wife as an example, so in her case, she'll do, 2 or 3 sprays, maybe just right across the front, and she kind of gives it that, and she's done. So, in those cases, if you're going to spot treat a little bit more, the product's going to go a long, long ways. And depending on your individual wants, is going to depend if you're going to use it twice a day, 7 sprays each time. A lot of people don't really need that. Right. A lot of people just want to have better hair. And if you are already using the shampoo, and unless you're dealing with something that's a little more serious, or not serious, but something you really want to take care of, diffuse areas in the temporal region, etc., and you want that to be a little quicker, then you could always use the product a little bit less, or you could dedicate to go, I'm going to use this for a month, twice a day, and then I'm going to kind of see how it goes. We do have the philosophy that we appreciate people using our products. What we're not trying to do is force you to use it so much you have to buy a new bottle every 3 or 4 weeks. We believe in using the products in the way that works best for the individual.
Can you believe this is the owner of the brand telling us this? This is crazy. I really appreciate your humbleness and your honesty in how you're delivering your package. So the topical, 7 sprays would probably be covering quite a bit of area. You can use 3 sprays if you feel that covers the need that you have, and if you feel like you need to stretch your products over a little bit more time. It's going to absorb immediately into your scalp. Do you recommend putting it on dry or wet hair? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your hair is dry or wet, clean or dirty. It doesn't really care. The most optimum time when your scalp is most willing to receive something is after you've come out of the shower and washed your scalp. And especially if you're using our shampoo at the same time, it's even more so. So you're going to have a better result and better absorption right out of the shower, where your pores are a little bit more open. And again, with the ingredients that we use in our shampoo, it's a double application. You rinse or you lather, you leave it for a minute or 2, rinse, and then put it in again, lather, leave it for 2-3 minutes longer if you can. Those applications are really important, and the second application of shampoo really sets up the absorption from the first application, and then even that second application of the shampoo really sets up for the absorption of the topical if you're going to be using one.
And we call that the shampoo effect. Like the first shampoo, you kind of get a little bit of a lather, and it's really kind of clearing off all the oils and the any buildup in your hair. By the second shampoo, you just use a tiny bit in your second shampoo, and you just get this great effect of a great lather. I want to say hi to Becky, Carl, Deborah. Becky and Deborah, you both, if you're just tuning in, this is a show that you both could use some Ethica. Very little scents, great on fine hair. Just about anyone can use Ethica, but I know both of your hair, and this would be a great product for you to try. I really want to thank you so much, Peter, for being here. I
Thank
also
you.
want to show that today, just today, for those who are watching and tuning into our show, we are launching your holiday kits. So
Cool.
I'm going to go back to the big screen. We have these whole, oh, he already put them up, cute graphics. So on my side is a 1 month supply. It's your 30-day supply. On Peter's side, it's your 4 month supply of your corrective, which is primarily for men, unless women have specific issues like chemo and things we've talked about, or your Ageless for women's issues. These are an amazing value. So if you're thinking about trying Ethica, these holiday kits just got launched today. So hopefully you can tune in, and thank you for offering this special holiday gift to all of us, Peter.
Oh, you're welcome. We assembled a lot of those in the last month or so, and we actually couldn't believe how many we sold. It's obviously been a tough year for everyone for a lot of reasons, and so these were accepted very, very well. And you're right, there is some good savings available on the kits.
There's some amazing savings, and it's also from everything we've heard about your brand, it's very cost effective anyways, just in being that there's only really 3-4 SKUs in the whole brand. But if you were going to use the whole regimen, the shampoo, the conditioners, and the topicals, that's really all you need. And it's going to be, it's a very concentrated product, and so it's going to go a long ways, I recognize as well.
100%. Yeah, the shampoo is very, very concentrated. A woman with long hair like yourself is going to go through conditioner a little bit quicker, as most women do, but the shampoo is very, very concentrated. So for someone like myself, the amount of a dime or a quarter is more than enough to wash my hair perfectly. So the product goes a long way as well.
It does. Well, it's been very fascinating talking to you. I know a lot of our Ethica customers are going to really appreciate knowing the humble founder of this ethical brand that we are so excited to have at Beauty Care Choices, the smart technology. It's been fascinating studying your brand, and I feel really privileged to carry it and sell it. So thanks for being part of our Beauty Care Choices family.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate the time. I'm happy to come back anytime. This is fun.
Oh, good. Thank you. Well, we'll definitely get our questions and bring you on back.
Okay, thanks so much.
Have a good weekend, Peter. Thank you so much for your time.
Be safe.
That was fascinating. I really enjoy and appreciate any brand creator, founder that can take the time to join us here, share their passion about why they created their brand. He saw a need in the industry. We should all be expecting a little bit more out of our hair care. The ingredient deck is amazing. Check it out. But it's obviously the formulas and how he layers it and knows what size molecules are needed to get everyone's hair looking the best it can. It's an amazing product. So call our girls below if you have any more questions. Check out all of the information on Beauty Care Choices. We have all the ingredients listed and a few other videos about it. And we hope you have a great weekend. Bye for now.